Hi guys, this is Heidi with Kiddos Corral, and for today's Sunday Simple Supper, I want to share with you how I make my honey oat bread. Now, I've had a lot of people over for supper, and I make this bread a lot because it is so easy to put together, and when it's baked up, the house smells so yummy. If you like the smell of fresh bread baking in the oven, you will love this because it has a sweetness because it has honey in it, and it just absolutely smells amazing when it's baking. So basically what I'm going to do is run through all of the ingredients, and then I'm going to list the recipe down below for those of you that would like to see it, and the measurements of everything. So first of all, I'm going to show you what you need. You're going to need some yeast, and just one envelope will do. I'm going to need some bread flour, some quick cook oats, some salt, some dry milk, also some honey, and some butter. And in here I have my quick oats, my salt, my dry powder, my dry milk powder, that is, and my flour. And I'm going to get out my KitchenAid mixer, and I'm going to get this started. Now the first thing you're going to need is, let me double check the recipe here, you're going to need 1 1/3 cups of warm water, and I want to dissolve this yeast in it. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay, I have my 1 1/3 cups of warm water in here, and to that I want to add my honey, and this is a 1/4 cup of honey. Okay. Now we're going to add in our package of yeast. Let me get a pair of scissors. There we go. And I'm going to let that yeast sit in that warm water for about 5 minutes, and I'll come back and show you how to mix in the rest. Okay, my yeast is activated, and you can tell either by, you're going to smell a very strong aroma of the yeast, or it's going to foam up, and mine is both actually. So the next thing you want to do is take all of your dry ingredients, and I'm just going to toss those right on top. And then I'm going to put in my 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter. And then it says to knead it for 8 minutes. Of course, I'm going to let my KitchenAid do all the magic for me. And I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's all kneaded and ready. Okay, my bread dough is about ready, and so I've got myself a large metal bowl here that I have put some olive oil in, and I'm just going to brush that up the sides of this bowl. And make sure it's good and coated. That looks good. Now I'm going to turn this off and get my bread dough out. And it's going to be kind of a rough textured dough because of the fact that it has the oatmeal in it, but that is fine. I'm going to get me some flour so this doesn't stick to my hands. Pull this out. There we go. And I just kind of pat it into a ball. Just kind of make sure that it's formed nice. And then I place it into the oiled bowl, and I kind of move it around and put it upside down and flip it back over just to make sure that it's good and coated with the olive oil, because this can form a crust from being exposed to the air. So that's what it should look like in your bowl. It's going to make a nice large loaf of bread. Get my hands washed up here a little bit. Now the next thing I'm going to do is get a piece of plastic wrap and cover this bowl. Let's see, I got a new thing of plastic wrap. So I got to get it open. Okay, so I got my plastic wrap, and I'm going to scoot this back so you guys can see. There we go. You guys can see my dough in there covered with the oil. And I'm just going to take my plastic wrap. I usually do 2 pieces. I just do one on one side, kind of halfway. And then I do another one. Ah! Oops. Should have pressed those sides in on that box. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to make sure this is good and covered. And then I'm going to place this in a warm place. Now usually I just turn my oven light on and just stick it in there with my oven off. Just stick it in the oven with the oven light, and it makes enough warmth that this will rise in no time. And I'll be back to show you what this dough looks like when it's risen. Hey, my bread dough has doubled in size, and I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Hopefully you guys can see. You guys see that? It's doubled in size. And you want to get a baking, a bread pan. Mine looks really nasty just because it is super old. Super, super old. I want to make sure you guys can see everything I'm doing. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is I want to spray my bread pan really well. Just like that. I don't want it to stick. I'm going to set it aside. And I'm going to get some flour, just a little bit, not much. And I'm going to put it out on my surface. I'm going to smash my bread down and bring it out onto this here flour. I'm going to grab just a little bit more flour for the top. And And I just want to smash it down and kind of roll it a little bit, just to kind of knead it a bit. And I just bend my sides in. And crease the bottoms really well. I'm going to knock off the excess flour, and I get my pan and I drop, I'm going to take all the excess off of it, drop my loaf in there just like that. See how pretty that is? And it looks all nice and even. It didn't take me hardly any time at all to put that there. Now I'm going to rinse my hands real quickly, and what I want to do is I just want to throw my plastic wrap right over top of my bread, because it's going to rise and it's not going to take any time at all for it to rise. And I do spray the top just a little bit so it doesn't stick to the plastic wrap and it doesn't dry out. And I just leave it sitting here until it rises. And I will tell you that this, normally for me, it does not take any time at all for this to rise. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and preheat my oven. I'm going to take my cookie pan out of here. Here we go. I'm going to preheat my oven to 350. And I'm just going to go jump in the shower, wash my hair, do what I need to do. And this will be risen when I come back, and I'll show you what you do before you pop it into the oven. Okay guys, my bread is risen, because when it bakes up, it'll actually puff up even more, and I don't want this to get too high. So what I do now is I just get my honey out. And you can do this with a brush, or you can actually, I just squirt it out of the bottle. But what I do is I just squirt a little bit of honey over the top of the bread, just like this. And then I put a little bit of oatmeal on top of that honey. And it makes this bread so pretty whenever it bakes up. What I love about this bread, and I don't know if I said this earlier, but a lot of bread recipes call for sugar. This does not have any sugar in it. Just honey. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to pop this in a 350-degree oven for 40 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Got my oven all preheated, and then while that's baking up, let me set the timer. While that is baking up, I'm going to clean up my flour mess. So I'll be back to show you what the bread looks like when it comes out. Okay, here is my bread fresh out of the oven, and I think it is such a pretty bread. Now I let it sit in the pan for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, and then I will take it out of the pan and just leave it sitting out. I'll probably put a lint-free towel over it, just to, you know, keep the air off of it or whatever, but I just let it cool completely, and then we're going to have it for dinner tonight. So I think it came out great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Sunday Simple Supper. I absolutely love to bake, and hopefully you guys enjoy this, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye.